I want to talk about you and your energy for football. I've talked to a lot of people in the building, not just players, but you're talking about athletic trainers, equipment managers, people in the front office even, and everybody says, we love Phil. Like, hey, we love Phil. Super competitive. Everybody likes him. Every single day he shows up and wants to be better. Did you expect to fall into a situation like the Indianapolis Colts where it's so perfect? You know Frank Reich very well. You know the offensive coordinator very well. You know the system very well. Great offensive line, good weapons, good franchise. Like, did you expect the Colts to be a place that you were going to land whenever you knew that the Chargers days were probably ending?
I wasn't sure, but if I was going to leave and go somewhere else, I couldn't think of a better place. And it's one of the things you have. It was certainly a team I was pulling for. I was hoping, hopefully this is a place that can work out. And for all the reason you mentioned, and I heard nothing but unbelievable things about this locker room and this team, and that's certainly been true. And it was interesting with not meeting some of the guys in person. A handful of us got together and got some work done in the summer, but not actually stepping foot in the locker room until July 28th or whatever it was. You're a little uneasy about it, especially when I'd been in a place for 16 years and been around the same guys. You mentioned the support staff, from the trainers to the equipment room. There's just a certain familiarity that you have, and you communicate and interact with those guys. So I was a little bit like, gosh, you didn't want to try to force yourself and to be some certain way. You just had to be yourself and kind of ease into it. And I can't say, I'm just very thankful really for how it's gone and the month we've had and how we've come together and grown and still had, built some of that camaraderie, because you mentioned I only know one way, and it's that country, corny, energetic, passion.
No!
That's the only way I know. And so I said, shoot, here we go. It's first, you got to be yourself here at 38 in a new place, and that's the only way I know. And thankfully, I think it's been well received, and I've certainly enjoyed getting to know the teammates here.
You moved your whole family to Florida, which a lot of old white people do whenever they want to retire. Was there ever a thought of retirement, or did you know you were going to come back and play? Because there was a lot of question marks in the media world. Like, nobody knew what was going to happen when he left the Chargers. It was like, what's Phil going to do? He moved to Florida. They're watching where you were moving to. Then the high school football thing happened. It's like, was there ever a thought of retirement, or that Super Bowl, we are going to continue to try to get this thing?
Yeah, I don't think there was ever a real thought of it. I did just feel deep down that my time out west was done, and that was okay. But so we moved there kind of just as kind of our holding place. I still, me and my wife and older daughters talked about, we kind of talked about the whole thing, like what's the plan, but I think it was unanimous. We thought keep playing if, in fact, somebody wants you and it's a team that's got a chance. Let's keep going. So if it came to that wasn't the case and the cupboard was dry and it was over, I was okay with that. But certainly still excited to keep playing. And I remember when the whole the coaching announcement, it's kind of been in the works for the last couple of years as far as I knew where we were going to end up one day, but the way it kind of went down, I remember calling and talking to Frank and Chris both to make sure they were good with it. I was like, hey, is this going to look all right? All of a sudden I just signed to come play quarterback and I'm getting named the head coach at a high school. So they were good with it. It's funny because Frank said, hey, you've told me you were going to do that since 2013. So it was more so, it was the best timing for the program moving forward. And, it was no secret I've always wanted to coach high school ball, but it'll be there whenever the time's right.
Hey, Phil, who's the poor guy that's the head coach now, just waiting for you to come take his gig?
Well, so the guy that was the head coach there had been a long-time head coach in Alabama and actually won some state championships at different places and really deserves a ton of credit for getting this program started. It was a brand new program. Last year was the first year of varsity football, so it's a brand new school early on in the stages of the football program. So he decided it was time for him to step down. I think he's still involved. And so it was one of those deals. I was talking with the AD, and it was, hey, if there's a young coach in Alabama that you want to go get him. By no means don't feel like you owe me anything. But they were all in on having me be a part of it. So the AD is the head coach in the interim and until I get down there.
Oh, I can't wait for those calls after the year. Like, let's say you go on and win it all, obviously the guys can be like, I'm about sick of being head coach. You think maybe you're coming, well, we got to run it back, dadgummit. Phil, the thing you talked about Frank Reich 2013, that's 7 years ago. You're 16 years with the Chargers. You don't normally see franchise superstar quarterback just kind of end relationship. They move on. You move on, and there hasn't been as much conversation about it. But for me, it was a very weird situation because the team moved cities. There was the story that you didn't move your family. You were driving back and forth in like a pimped out Sprinter van or whatever. The pictures made their thing. You just kind of knew that your time was coming up there. Like, what was the indication that it was like, you know what, this is probably for the both of us kind of just time to move forward?
Yeah, I definitely think, I was appreciative of the way it was handled as far as it didn't turn into this, a big deal in terms of, back and forth and not on the same page. I think really it was going into the last season. I played the last year out of my contract, which we were coming off a 2018 season where we had an unbelievable year, obviously get beaten New England. And so if there was a time to extend, it would have been there. But I can say that was mutual as well. There was some talk about, maybe adding a couple years, and then there was, we don't have to. And I said, shoot, I'm fine. Let's just play it out and see where we all stand. And so we did that, and it wasn't the best of years to say the least. Obviously it was a rough season. I certainly didn't have my best year by any means, and I just felt like it was time. You just felt a little bit of a feel in the building that maybe they wanted to move on, but certainly didn't want it to end messy. Yeah. And I was kind of like, well, shoot, guys, I think it's time to, as hard as it is. And I hate that I wasn't able to lead that franchise to a championship, but just felt like it was time. And both sides kind of agreed to that. And then here I sit over off 56th Street in Indianapolis right now.
So what's it feel like now that we're so close? I know the boys and Pat are very excited. I mean, NFL football is about to
pumped. Phil, 7 days, Phil. Yeah! 7 days, Phil. Let's go. Come on, Phil. I can't watch high school football, but NFL football's back 7 days. I'm sorry.
Yeah, what's it feel like that it's actually here? Like for me, it almost, just as a fan now, it feels weird. Wow, we're right around the corner, man. They're going to be playing some NFL football.
Dude, it's here. It is here. There's a little different vibe in the building even these last couple of days. I think you just feel game week. Game week's right around the corner. AJ, it's a different feel when it's game week than it is a day 26 of training camp. It feels different when, game week's right around the corner. So, it was interesting. We were just talking with a couple of guys. It is weird, though, in the fact that usually you have those preseason games, not only for young guys and for a lot of us to kind of, get going and get back a feel of what game feels like, and for young guys to obviously get those reps. You also get to have a little, I kind of call them team bonding experiences. You get to put on that same uniform. You've been going against each other all training camp. You actually get to go out there and suit up and pull for your guys. So we haven't gotten to do that. It's been all combative. It's been all O versus D now for the whole month. So the first time we take the field together in the exact same color will be Sunday in Jacksonville. So it will be, I know it won't be a packed house in the stadium, but I don't think there's going to be any lack of juice from this group. We'll be fired up and ready to go, and I just can't wait for it to get here. And shoot, the guys are pumped. We get a couple days now to kind of rest. That weekend before the opening weekend is always nice. You've had a long training camp. You get to spend some time with family and relax a little bit, and then shoot, come Wednesday, it'll be a game week schedule, which we kind of simulated this week. Frank put that together this week, so we'll be ready to roll come Wednesday.
COVID-19 isn't the reason I won't be a packed house down there in Jacksonville. They are. I mean, I'm pumped for you to go out and put on a show, Phil. You didn't say it, I did. Whenever you played with the Chargers, you had one of the most underappreciated and underrespected wide receivers out there in Keenan Allen. Right? Nobody ever talks about Keenan Allen. Now you're getting a chance, I think, to learn a lot about T.Y. Hilton. T.Y. Hilton is a guy that I was very lucky to see him come in and see him grow and blossom into the Pro Bowl player, but he's very underappreciated league-wide for whatever reason. In the last couple of years, he's been our only focal point, so he had double coverages in a lot of situations. Now you got Pittman in there as well. What does he look like, and what are your thoughts on T.Y. and getting a chance to build with T.Y.'s relationship?
T.Y.'s been awesome. I got to be around him a little bit at the Pro Bowl a couple of times, but you never really know until you're with a guy every day, on the practice field and interact in the locker room and just chatting it up. So it's been, here's the thing for me that stands out. He's a great player. The dude loves to compete. I mean, he loves to compete all the time. He's competing. And, there's something about great players that usually they all have that makeup and that mentality. So he has that first. And then you throw in the fact that he's a heck of a player, unbelievable ball skills, can still stretch it vertical. And then usually, guys that are speed guys, and not that I'm classifying him as a speed guy. He does have great speed, but they don't always have great feel. And then, I said this the other day, the best receivers, you mentioned Keenan, but and the others that I've had and been around, they all have great feel. They know where the windows are. They know when to throttle a route. They know when a back shoulder's coming. They know all those things. And so that's been something that he has that. So the timing and the understanding, the little nuances of routes have been they've come very quickly. So it's one of those deals where we've had throughout the camp where we make a play here and there in practice, and you would think, I just feel like you think, oh yeah, so how long have that quarterback and receiver been together? And you tell them 4 weeks, and they go, there's no way. Not that it was an unbelievable play. It's just a little subtlety of a route concept, and we're on the same page because he has such great feel. And then yet I've seen the coverage and that route concept so many times, and that meshing together makes for a good combination.